What's up, guys? Micah here with Noise is the Sound, and welcome to episode 2 of the Women and Werewolves guitar walkthrough. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about track 2 on the album. The song is called Caged in Compassion. In order to play this song, you'll need to put your guitar in drop D tuning. And if you've never used that tuning before, I'll go ahead and put what the 6 strings will be tuned to on the screen right now. Let me give you guys a little bit of backstory on this song, Caged in Compassion. So if you've watched my previous video, you know that there was an intro to that song involving 3 chords, which was the D, the E, and the F sharp minor. Well, the actual chords that were sounding when you were playing in the drop C tuning were actually C, D, and E minor. So I guess the reason why I decided to drop tune on track 1 on the album and have the rest of the album be in drop D tuning, which is a step higher, is I wanted track 1 to end in the key that track 2 begins in. This was a fun little musical challenge that I gave myself while writing the album. I wanted the ending of each song to begin in the key of the next song. Now, if you're out writing an album, you certainly don't have to try to achieve this goal. This was just a little kind of finish line goal that I put ahead of myself. So the verse riff is played with either phaser or chorus on the guitar as an effect. And there's an intro version of the riff that's played before the beginning of each verse, and then there's a verse version of the riff as well. So let me begin with the intro version of the riff. What the riff is going to sound like during each verse. There's quite a bit of little hammer-on actions that go on the D string, the middle D string on your guitar, so if you want to pay attention to that, that's how the riff is going to variate throughout the verse. We're going to kick on some distortion. The chords are going to be E minor to D to A, and then that repeats again, E minor to D to A, and then we do a little walk up here. It's going to be E minor to D over F sharp to C. And when I'm doing my drop D chords, I tend to add a note or two to kind of make them sound a little more interesting. So instead of like a traditional just E chord with the one finger, I'll add this note here on the middle D string. Makes it more, I don't know, pretty or dark. Let me go ahead and kick on distortion and run through how to play the chorus of Caged in Compassion. Okay, so that's the chorus part, and then after that we go into like a heavier breakdown in the song, and this leads me to something else that is going to be a reoccurring theme across these videos. And guitar players out there, never throw away your riff ideas. You might have 3 or 4 notes, a cool riff or lick idea for a song that never gets used. Go ahead and record that somewhere, or keep it in the back of your mind if you know you're going to be doing some writing soon. And there's a few riffs on the Women and Werewolves album where I brought riffs back for songs that either I never fully finished or never got used, and was able to kind of use those ideas for a new song. So all that to say, keep your riff ideas handy, never throw anything away. Alright, so here is the breakdown on Caged in Compassion. Now, as you're listening through Caged in Compassion on the album, you'll notice that there's some really cool lead guitar work across the whole track. A lot of it was actually performed by our friend Brad while he was living in Utah. And so I won't be including the riffs that I did not record in these tutorial videos, as I'm really not exactly sure how they're played. It's a little bit of a lead riff that I did during the breakdown as well. It's like a couple of quick little pick parts. It goes like this. And without the palm muting, it kind of has like this cool kind of metally sound to it. It goes. That brings us to the outro of the song, when Jesse sings, "When I escape from here, we'll be together again, my dear." The chords that I'm playing on this breakdown are the same chords that you hear at the introduction of The Stranger. They're just played in a different time signature. This song is in 6/8. Also, I'm leaving the G string hanging open on this outro part, so it has kind of a more ambient, open sound to it when the chords are being played. So this is how they sound on the outro for the record. Part of the outro, we kick the distortion back on, and this is what you hear at the end of the track. Walkthrough for Caged in Compassion off the Women and Werewolves album. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep rocking.